wedding is being messed with, and they are wasting the time of our venue, the hotel, and 2 police stations. It's costing me thousands of extra dollars in insurance and potentially closing down the entire building, and my bride is coming up to me and asking me if we're about to be double homicided at her wedding.
Okay, now I'm pissed. Now I'm pissed. Why is it so hard for people in the political space online to be just normal human beings? Everybody is such weirdos, man. Jesus.
Think about how little time I spend like shitting on BadEmpanada or whatever, because like we have different methods, we have different tactics, we have different techniques.
His tactics are doxing, false police reports, false CPS reports, slandering people constantly.
But overall, we're working on the same side.
Hasan is literally saying he supports what BadEmpanada is doing. Like, Hasan clearly knows at this point he's bad.
That's fucking bananas, bro. Guys, I have a little surprise for you. We're gonna have a conversation with WillyMac right now. Okay, WillyMac dropped this video, was it yesterday? 16 hours ago was yesterday. And this story is insane. This is what it is to spar with certain groups of people on the internet. It just leads to crazy things.
BadEmpanada is a known doxer and harasser. If you go on his Twitter account at any time, you could see him doxing people. He's probably the most famous for being the one who claimed he called CPS on Ethan and Gila. He's constantly encouraged and defended people doing it. He literally opened up a CPS merch line because he thinks it's so funny.
We've got a hat. I did CPS, the CPS logo with the 2 skulls, of course, 2 skulls.
Center for Proletarian Solidarity.
Not a reference to anything in particular.
He knowingly defames people. In my last video, I pointed out that BadEmpanada constantly claims that Lonerbox's dad was part of a militia group that killed a bunch of civilians. No evidence for it.
Jesus Christ.
Worst laugh I've ever heard. And then he just doubles down on everything he made up.
He complains that I called Lonerbox, that I said that Lonerbox's dad participated in the Sabra and Shatila massacre, which he absolutely did, by the way. Lonerbox has never disproven this. Until he disproves it, it's true.
So I guess I shouldn't be surprised that when my dox gets found, BadEmpanada immediately...
I just don't get, like Hasan knows all this about BE. Like, he knows all of this, or he knows a good deal. He knows enough to know that BE is, he's like a fucking online terrorist. I don't know how else to describe him. He's like an actual digital terrorist. There is some kind of mental illness there. I don't know what to say. I mean, like, I'm not qualified to give any diagnoses, but there's some kind of pathology going on here. This is beyond intense or adversarial internet banter. We're just so well past that point with this guy. And so the fact that Hasan still regularly will bring it, well, I don't know about regularly, but semi-regularly will bring up this guy's videos on his stream and promote the channel. It's pretty bananas.
Posted everywhere. Uploads a video blasting my name, my bride's name, the address of our wedding, all over the internet. It's also come out that he's swatting people, filing fake police reports, all while plugging his Patreon. So I figured if he's making money off of my docs, I should too. So thank you, Exter, for helping me cope. Do you have a big, fat, bulky wallet?
Nobody, and I mean nobody, does seamless segues into ad reads quite like WillyMac. Just want to say.
Oh yeah, BadEmpanada fabricating entire background stories about me and my wife.
A certain slop tuber who does nothing but make videos in which he attacks pro-Palestinian people and de facto, as a result of that, helps to further Israel's genocide in Gaza, has been outed as having been honeypotted by Israel. Israel is literally assigning slop tubers government-assigned Israeli wives.
Man, Mossad's really good at their job, because me and my girl started dating 8 years ago when I was still a nobody on YouTube.
So the slop tuber in question is WillyMacShow. He's suddenly making pro-Israel content constantly. He's suddenly making nothing but videos attacking pro-Palestine people.
I covered Hasan before all this. It just turns out a war starting in the Middle East didn't make him any better at covering the news. So guess what? I was able to make more YouTube videos. He never addresses my actual points. It's just character assassinations for why I should be doxxed. BadEmpanada then doxes another YouTuber with the justification that he's a Nazi and that it's for journalistic interest. And then he says that's why it's important to dox me and my wife because she's Israeli.
You're actually allowed to reveal personal information about people, especially their real names, if it's within journalistic interest. You know, if there is journalistic reason for doing so. And exposing a clear conflict of interest in this guy's content and his personal life is journalistic interest. It
is so bananas. First of all, correct me if I'm wrong. Does WillyMac have a second channel? WillyMac does not cover stuff like geopolitics. I don't know if WillyMac is making videos about the conflict in Gaza. He's covering drama related to creators that cover this stuff. But he's not dedicating an enormous amount of time like diving into the politics of it. I don't even know if I know WillyMac's politics. I don't even know if I could tell you what kind of politics he has. I really don't know. Is he center right? Is he center left? I feel like it's one of the two, but I don't know. He's not he covers drama, not politics. So this idea that WillyMac has a conflict of interest covering like Ethan stuff, like Ethan and iDub stuff, because his wife is Jewish. Do we like, is his wife from Israel? Like what, like even if she was, what is the actual evidence for his coverage being compromised in some way? It's just so bananas.
It's why, for example, I can tell you that the YouTuber Zoomer Historian, a neo-Nazi history YouTuber, is this guy. I can tell you this because it is within journalistic interest to do so, even though he did not release his information himself publicly. Just like how I can tell you that WillyMacShow is William McConville, and he is getting married to a Yale. Now, I am not going to give you the full name of the person he's getting married to.
He literally just scrolled down and showed her full name. I reported the video and he added this little blur, but it still doesn't cover her name.
She is Israeli and she was assigned to him by the Israeli government. They've taken down this page, but as you can see, it is freely available on Google. They, for some reason, as the guy who is a public figure, decided to just publicly announce in public his wedding.
How is this allowed on YouTube? He does this thing where he constantly tries to justify his reason for doxing me. He's like,
that's the other thing too, is like, hold on, does YouTube not have policies on doxing? YouTube has policies against doxing. The platform prohibits content that threatens to share or encourages sharing non-public, personally identifiable information, which includes home addresses, phone numbers, and more. YouTube's harassment and cyberbullying policies specifically address doxing and other harmful behaviors, especially against minors. If you encounter doxing content, you can report it through YouTube's reporting process. I mean, I just like this. BE is known for just relentlessly doxing people. I don't understand. Has he ever been banned on or suspended on YouTube? Have there ever been any consequences to this? Does he just make new channels? Like, well, I don't understand. BE's YouTube should have been shut down months ago. It's just wild that he gets away with this so flagrantly. It's pretty bananas.
Ethan doxed Denim when he sued them.
This guy has no right to come public his wedding.
How is this allowed on YouTube? He does this thing where he constantly tries to justify his reason for doxing me. He's like, Ethan doxed Denim when he sued them.
This guy has no right to complain about revealing his real name to be doxing. Because WillyMacShow went on the H3 podcast, which is a podcast that frequently doxes people. In Ethan's recent video talking about his lawsuit, he included unredacted legal filings that he made that include their real names and their real locations.
That's just how legal filings work.
Here's a video clip of Ethan Klein doxing a random Instagram commenter on his show. Ethan goes through the guy's Instagram, brings up
that. What are we calling doxing? Like, hold on, doxing meaning filing a lawsuit, like a public filing of a lawsuit. We're calling that doxing. We're calling. So I remember what he's talking about here. Some guy, I think it was the guy who replied to a Gila Instagram post where she had gotten a tattoo of, I think, a Star of David. And I think the person left a comment saying like, you belong in hell or something like that. And then Ethan brought up the guy's like public Instagram when he was live streaming on YouTube. Are we calling that doxing? Is that doxing? You're saying yes, that is? Hold on a second. Hold on. Hang on. Shut the door for just a minute. Hold on. To publicly identify or publish private information about someone, especially as a form of punishment or revenge. How is that doxing? I was pulling up a Instagram photo, doxing.
up pictures of his family members.
Commenter commented from their Instagram account with their full name talking trash to Ethan and had loads of pictures of them and their family on it. I didn't get sued. I didn't comment on your video with my full name.
Fishy with the gifted sub, thank you.
You and going on a podcast. He's nonstop lying about me and my wife, saying she was in the IDF. His fans are saying she murdered babies. He's saying propagandists should die as he's calling me a paid propagandist. They're saying we're valid targets. He posted a photo of what he thinks is my wife in the IDF, but they're actually just pictures of random teenage girls.
Wait, Direful, you're on thin ice, buddy. First of all, just so you know, you're on very thin ice, buddy. Direful, can I get you to acknowledge that what BE is trying to do with WillyMac here, all this crazy stuff with like accusing his wife of murdering babies or whatever? Can I get you to agree that that's like 100 times worse than Ethan pulling up a public Instagram? Would you even acknowledge that? I'm just so curious where your head's at with this. Okay, fine. It's 99 times worse. Okay, fine. I can't get you to, you know what? You've been on thin ice for a really long time, to be honest with you. Good luck in your travels. I wish you well.
I asked my wife what this was, and she thinks it's the Israeli Girl Scouts. So
Direful's in here every day. He's like one of these people that's like, we're going to start banning people that do the like, look, I'm going to start getting really draconian, just so you guys know. I've allowed just way too many shenanigans to go on in my chat for way too long, and I'm not going to do it anymore, just so you guys know. It's two B's, bad faith and bigotry. Bad faith and bigotry. So if you're in here dropping like bigoted slurs, that's a ban. That was already a ban. But also if you're doing bad faith. So all the little snarky repliers in my... I have a few hate watchers on Twitch. Every time I see somebody, if I say something like, yeah, I went and saw, you know, Weapons this weekend and it was one of the best movies this year. And then someone's in chat like, oh, I'm sorry. Are you saying you want to fucking level Gaza? The bad faith stuff, that's going to be a ban. Just so we know. Just so we're all on the same page. It happens way too much. Weapons was very fucking good, by the way. I think it's my favorite movie this year. I think it is. It's either that or Eddington.
He's just posting little girls on Twitter. My wife didn't serve in the IDF. She came over here at 3 years old. On top of it, he doesn't even know her politics on that situation. He's just being racist. But the worst thing he did was post the date and address of her wedding the week before it took place. He does it multiple times throughout the video, showing an archived page of our site, because we did take it down to try and hide it. But nope, there it is. The time, the date, the address.
Yale and William McConville are getting married very soon. Yale, who is Israeli and Israeli government provided wife.
So now our wedding is being messed with, and they are wasting the time of our venue, the hotel, and 2 police stations. It's cost me thousands of extra dollars in insurance and potentially closing down the entire building, and my bride is coming up to me and asking me if we're about to be double homicided at her wedding. I'm like, no baby, these people don't leave their mom's basements, but
Okay, now I'm pissed. Now I'm fucking pissed. That's crazy. That is a crazy thing to do to someone whose politics you don't like. It's just bananas, you guys.
she sees the news. She saw 2 low-level...
That's really fucked up, man. That's really fucked up. If this whole stuff, of all of this stuff, made her sort of took away from her experience at that wedding. I mean, it's a really important experience, I think, especially for the ladies. But it's really, you know, this is a big deal. And so she felt any kind of stress or any kind of like sense that she might be hurt at her own wedding is just so beyond the pale, completely unacceptable. God, it's so deranged, you guys. It's sociopathic. I don't know what else to call it. It's like antisocial, some kind of sociopathy, or I don't know what. Yeah.
Staffers at the Israeli embassy get shot and killed. She's worried. So I'm being told by the police that I should go online and see if there's any direct threats. And I see a video made by a guy who hates me, showing all of my information and giving a hypothetical where I'm a valid target because Destiny's a hypocrite.
Stevie said anything involving this BadEmpanada guy or anyone that supports him is justifiable ammo. Anything is justified against BadEmpanada and anyone that supports him. Let's apply those standards. Why are we saying this about BadEmpanada? Well, it appears to be because BadEmpanada doxed WillyMac's wife. So would Destiny be saying that those who dox people, those who make calls to violence or allusions to violence, should be fair game, and all of their supporters, all the personalities that back them up, all the chatters that back him up?
This is essentially a Destiny snark community. This guy's
Dude, I made the mistake of, I do this too much. I'm going to be better at doing this. Like, I made the mistake of, like, I had some people in my chat recommend that I have a conversation with certain people. In this case, Kuiman. And I watched a few of the guys' videos. Not exactly a heavyweight. I figured, yeah, like, whatever, let's have the conversation. And I had so much stuff blow up behind the scenes before I even had a conversation with this person. And then when I asked this person to communicate to their audience, because it is like an anti-Destiny subreddit, or it's like an anti-Destiny snark community is what it is. Yeah. And what I discovered is that in their minds, it's like digital war. And so if there are any perceived allies of Destiny, people were going after like perceived allies, which included me and a number of other people who don't even collaborate with Destiny at this point. And I asked this person behind the scenes to communicate to their audience certain things about me, to clarify certain things that were lies going on. And I got pushback. He didn't want to do, he was, you know, it was a whole conversation about like, I don't want to get into the private, I mean, yeah, whatever. This guy, you know, it's just great. People warned me like before I even had like started. I had people reach out to me and warn me like, don't have a conversation with this guy. It's gonna go bad. And then I had a bunch of stuff blow up before we even had a conversation. So like, there are certain communities in politics, like online politics, that are so toxic and radioactive. It's unbelievable. And I guess I just didn't know how bad it actually was. But I don't know if it's his audience or if it's other people's audience, but they like, because Destiny picks fights with these people, they pick fights with people that they think are aligned with Destiny. And so that's how it goes. So if you're perceived to be like a Destiny ally in any kind of way, then they're like going after you, which is crazy.
The narrative for the past 6 months is that I'm covering for Destiny despite me making 2 of the most in-depth videos criticizing him. Their evidence behind this is I said Destiny is better at covering the news than Hasan and Vosh, which is somebody who has made videos on all 3 of these people. I think that's objectively true, but I digress. But most importantly, it's that when these 2 do something stupid, I make fun of them back. The truth is, BadEmpanada did not originate my dox. He maliciously spread it everywhere, but my dox originated on a niche forum by this guy's unhinged viewers. So when I see this clip, it's obviously a dog whistle to with me. He literally gets a donation that says, I understand what we must do. Wink, wink.
Anything is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him. No? Is that not the standard? That's what he's laying out for me here. Now, I have principles. I don't think it's no bad tactics, only bad targets. That's not me.
As he's literally showing my docs.
But Destiny is very clearly laying out that those are the standards that he believes in. Those are the standards he wishes to be enforced.
And so then, like, people in that space, I'm not going to say it's like him or technically like specifically his community, but people in that space, then they see like going after people like me and other people as that's their way of going after Destiny. It's fucking insane. Like, I have nothing to do with Destiny. Like, I literally have nothing to do with them. I reached out to Kuiman and I was like, I asked him to tell his audience, hey, I would like you to tell your audience that I'm not a orbiter. This is just not true. And then he goes, fine, f it. And then he goes, well, I'm not going to tell him that because I think that's a lie. I don't think that's true. I was like, what? He said he said something like, you make Destiny orbit content. And I was like, what? What are you talking about? Like, I thought, like, I don't know, maybe it's just me being optimistic about people. I just assume that most people are reasonable. So when I reached out, I didn't think it was going to turn into a conversation that like an argument, but it did. It's like, yeah, I would call you a Destiny orbiter. I was like, why? I was like, why? What would qualify me for that kind of label? Oh, you make Destiny orbiter like content. What the f does that even mean? I appeared on a stream with Destiny maybe like 9 times total, 10 times total over the course of years, and I make Destiny orbiter content? Like, what? And so I didn't get any, you know, like, I was hoping that this guy would like try to bring the temperature down, and he just didn't. He was just like, no, I'm not going to tell him that you're not an orbiter. I was like, okay, well, He even said like at one point in the conversation, he goes, quite frankly, I think it's disgusting that you're trying to like ask me to do this. And I was like, okay, bye. I was like, I'm done with this conversation. Quite frankly, I think it's disgusting. Quite frankly, I think it's disgusting that you would try to pressure me to do something like that. I'm like, okay. It's just so funny because I was warned. Somebody, like a couple people reached out and they're like, don't do it. Don't talk to this guy. And I was like, it looks fine. It's like, it's whatever. I'm not worried about my ability to like navigate a debate with this person. And then everything just blew up before we even had a conversation. It was nuts.
Is if you're a doxer,
As he's literally showing my docs.
but Destiny is very clearly laying out that those are the standards that he believes in. Those are the standards he wishes to be enforced. Is if you're a doxer, if you call for violence, anything is justifiable against your supporters.
Order taken.
Okay, that's not what I'm saying, Max, actually. I just explicitly said otherwise, actually, Max.
He's got a shit-eating grin on his face. He knows what he's doing. This then gets retweeted by his friend J-Stock, who pushed the exact same narratives about me. I'm obviously very unhappy about this. It's affecting my real life, but instead of anyone actually acknowledging this, they do what BadEmpanada did and try to hypocrisy hunt to justify their actions. They're like, why aren't you mad at Destiny? He quote-tweeted your docs too.
Why aren't you mad at Destiny himself?
Destiny is defending my already viral docs that's already in the hands of all the people who hate me. We're acting like context and scale don't matter. It was actually kind of nice to see someone with a big audience who I've criticized in the past stand up for me and say this is wrong. But look at this comment. Willy refuses to acknowledge the obvious, that Destiny is the biggest proponent in spreading his docs. No, it was actually BadEmpanada who did that. Do you know how time works? They hate Destiny so much they're ignoring the very reality we live in. That's what I don't get at all. Is he perfectly fine with his docs being spread around as long as the person who's spreading it is condemning it? At this point, my docs is already spread, the toothpaste is out of the bottle. What bothered me most in this moment was the narrative that I deserve it, or that it's part of some greater Destiny justice. If Queeman pulled up my docs and only said BadEmpanada sucks for this, I wouldn't care. It's the dog whistle call to action that's the problem. It's so obvious, yet I'm seeing respected commentator Augie call me a hypocrite because I said doxing is wrong.
This is from a month ago. Willie says, you should delete this. It's just doxing and a shit thing to do to someone whose worst crime is being annoying on the internet. So you have that situation there. So there is twice replying to JStock's docs, but then he got upset about his docs being shared.
Yeah, holy shit. It's as if
I don't even understand what I'm looking at. Why can't people be fucking normal? Why is it so hard for people in the political space online to be just normal human beings? Everybody is such fucking weirdos, man. Jesus. I don't know if it's just a function of me, you know, I didn't sort of become like an internet person until I was like 26 or 27, you know? Maybe like I've, you know, been in the same relationship for 10 years. So there's like a couple things that just like anchor me to reality. But, you know, is it just these kids have just been on the internet their entire lives and it's just destroyed their brains? Why can't people just be like normal adult human beings? Bananas. Why do political disagreements lead to like a fucking civil war where it escalates to the point where this guy's, you know, WillyMac's poor wife's got to worry about her fucking personal safety at a wedding?
context matters. It's as if me calling out a tweet that already has 100,000 views doesn't add any negative effect. He pearl clutches and gives this big performance about my quote tweet.
I showed you 2 times. Here he is doing it a 3rd time just a few days ago before I even did this stream. And I actually had to like tell him, I was like, dude, delete this shit, right?
But on this same stream, Augie shows the uncensored link of J-Stock's docs. He also replied under J-Stock's docs on Twitter. So what are we talking about? Are we gonna call Augie a doxer? No, because they don't actually care about this. He's just being performative to justify what's happening to me. Augie acts confused throughout this entire segment.
Literally days after he threw a hissy fit. Yeah, I mean, it just doesn't really make any sense to me. It's like, what the f are we talking about here? I mean, what argument are we making here? This is just crazy. It makes no sense.
I know why he's confused. It's because he never plays the original clip that made me mad in the first place. He just summarizes as they criticize Destiny, and that's why Willy's mad.
Too bothered by this, but instead he was bothered by some stuff that Queeman and J-Stock were saying. And basically what they were saying was it's kind of hypocritical for Destiny to get upset at, you know, WillyMac for getting doxxed when he has a history of doxing people and is currently right now calling for their doxes, right?
So he never plays the context and then acts like the...
Why are people that have nothing to do with that catching strays? this doxing war between Destiny and DGG versus these other people. Why are people that have fucking nothing to do with this catching strays? We have nothing to do with this. And there's like multiple people that I know that caught strays during this whole Civil War situation. What the do we have to do with this? This has nothing to do with us.
The reason I'm mad is because they called Destiny a hypocrite. Nothing about my wedding or my bride. How is that possible unless you're being bad faith? I'm not even sure if Augie knows what a dog whistle is. He's like, unless Queeman pulls up Willy's docs and then says, I love doxing Willy, it's all fine.
It's not even really a point against WillyMac. It was mainly a point against Destiny. I don't think at any point Queeman was like, yeah, and he got doxed, and I love that. You know? I don't think he ever said that, right?
Bro, if you're this stupid, make life better for everybody and just quit. Destiny has recently doxed J-Stock and Queeman. His motivation behind this is that everyone...
I don't think he ever said that, right?
Bro, if you're this stupid, make life better for everybody and just quit. Destiny has recently doxed J-Stock and Queeman. His motivation behind this is that everyone they associate with him ends up getting doxed and harassed, so he's doing it back to them.
All I can tell you guys is when I reached out to Queeman and asked him to do what he could do on his end to bring the temperature down, there was no cooperation. So like he's insisting, oh, this has nothing to do with me. It's not my community. We had nothing to do with this. Fine. I'll take you at your word. Fine. You say it's not you and your community. Okay, that's fine. But here's what you could do to like bring the temperature down. And he just wouldn't do it. Yeah. To me at that point, you have some culpability in what's going on. Like if you have the ability to communicate to your audience something that could potentially turn the temperature down, and then of course now even though you say you have nothing to do with it, now you just fully have culpability here because you had the opportunity to like help the situation and you're just saying that you don't want to do it. It's bananas. It's fucking bananas.
Another example of a Destiny viewer saying they're getting threatening letters sent to their house, and Destiny's like, I don't believe them, but even if that happened, it's still not that community's fault.
A couple months ago, because I'm a fan of Destiny in the JSUG server, someone in his community sent a letter to my home. I've moved since then. Thanks for telling us, by the way. To my house saying, I defend Destiny because I want to my wife and my patients. I'm going to put an X to doubt on that one. And even if it did happen, right? Who's responsible?
Who is this person on my screen? I don't know who this is. I literally I was just not familiar with like this side of politics online. Like I knew in the abstract that some people get really extreme and weird, but I didn't know that there were like entire communities that are basically dedicated to like hate watching Destiny and stuff. And I guess in their minds, it's like digital war, and so they're going after like who they view to be Destiny allies. And then I'm catching strays. Like, what the I have nothing to do with any of this. I don't want any part in this. This is not, I don't get online and seek out this kind of shit. Like, I have nothing to do with any of that.
Responsible for that.
What about the guy dog whistling that I'm a valid target and getting a dono saying they understand his orders?
Anything is justifiable against Destiny and the people who support him.
I don't think creators are responsible for every one of their unhinged viewers, but it is not normal for a community this small to have so much doxing coming out of it. I've made videos on communists, Nazis, misogynists, feminists, scammers, and traffickers. People with millions of followers, yet this tiny little community is where all this doxing takes place, and it's just out of their hands. Dude,
anecdotally, what I will, and I've said this many times in recent weeks, anecdotally, I will tell you that of all of my time spent on the internet being like a public person commenting on hot button issues, I've swam in really toxic gaming fandom. I covered MAGA pretty relentlessly for the entire Trump term. That's a little bit of an exaggeration. I played more games back then, but I covered Trump a lot. And, I've had insane MAGA people in my replies and comments. And what I will tell you is that I don't want to mix crowds because I think this crowd is a different crowd than the black pill lefties. But like the black pill lefties and then like these like anti-Destiny people are by far the most unhinged and deranged people that I've ever interacted with. Like the anti-Ethan, anti-Destiny kind of black pill left are so much more unhinged than any people that I've ever dealt with online. I semi-regularly get called like racial slurs now, which didn't really happen before. And it's always like the same crap. You click on their profile and it's like really obvious. They're not MAGA. They're, you know, like, I listen, I can't, I'm not going to sit here and tell you that I think like these people are just on balance more unhinged than MAGA. It's just, I'm not really sparring with MAGA these days. And you can certainly find unhinged people when it comes to right-wing politics online, and unhinged communities. But this crowd is like it's like a whole other level.
They're obviously feeding into it, but Augie...
They don't go after Chud like they do with Hutch. True, it's literally because Hutch has similar politics and Chud is more right-leaning. I don't think it has anything to do with Destiny. I think it's because recently people have started to like notice me, and they're noticing that a lot of my content is focused on critiquing the left right now, which I just think is a really important thing to do. I think we should have that conversation right now. And so there's all these assumptions that come from that. So like, because I'm more sympathetic to Ethan in the whole Ethan versus the internet situation, that this necessarily means that I'm like a rabid Zionist who wants to like murder Palestinians. Like, they just take it to a whole other level. They just make stuff up. Like, they're completely fine making stuff up. There's like dedicated hate accounts on Twitter, and many of them are being sued by Ethan right now. Like, it's funny because like each time Ethan announces a new lawsuit against someone, it's people that have targeted me with like really unhinged rhetoric. Like every single one of them. Like the Jake Chinatown guy, he just fully lies his tits off. The Gato Fumador account, there's like a couple other accounts he's targeted. Like all of the people that he's targeted in terms of like the Twitter people, they've all targeted me with just completely unhinged rhetoric, completely just making stuff up. And I'd be lying if I said it didn't get to me. What I do is I end up just muting the conversation so I don't see any replies show up on my feed. But it does get to you like a little bit. Like, thankfully I have enough fortitude after spending so much time on the internet for the last 15 years. So it takes a lot to get me like pretty upset. But when you see that many people, like these big accounts just blatantly lying about you, and then you're getting like hundreds and thousands of people that are showing up in your mentions just repeating these lies, it does get a bit much.
J-Stalk has criticized Destiny for creating a metaphorical machine, partially because he had sex with BPD girls. Then when these girls call him out for being abusive, everyone thinks they're just crazy. J-Stalk then had sex with the same BPD girl.
Everything Destiny's saying here is true. Actually, it's not true. Actually, everything Destiny's saying here is complete bullshit. Destiny says, and to think that this was the same guy, J-Stalk Jewstalker, who spent the last year saying having sex with mentally ill people equals crazy, huh? No, you f***ing retard. That was never the argument that you have sex with mentally ill people, that means you're raping them by default. The argument is that you don't give a fuck about their consent because you'll share their images, videos of them doing all kinds of sexual stuff. You'll share that with anyone.
No, Augie, J-Stalk actually specifically...
I didn't even... What are we saying about people with... BPD is borderline personality disorder, by the way. It's a diagnosable condition. Was the original line of thinking that people with BPD are too mentally unwell to consent to a sexual relationship? Like, is that what the original claim was?
He said it's not about sharing images.
I think that the main talking point is that Destiny distributes people's nudes. And, like, it's like a weird
I think that's not the main talking point. I think one of the a massive talking point here is the infinite machine, okay? How does the infinite machine work?
What's happening? What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
It's a massive talking point, which you'd know if if you watch the Sunday video. It's not just about nudes, bro. It's about a system that let this happen for so long.
And what does Sunday say? Part of the machine is Destiny targeting mentally ill women.
And the victims are also selected, either for mental illness, allowing them to be easily construed as hysterical or deceptive when they complain about their treatment.
So when it leaks that J-Stalk is having a secret relationship with the same BPD girl and she crashes out on him multiple times, it's funny. I'm giving him shit. I'm allowed to talk shit back to these people. I talked to Augie about the same exact thing a month ago and told him if he wanted to find it, he could just watch the ending to my second Destiny video. But he didn't watch it. He'd rather make stuff.
There's so much lore that I'm totally unfamiliar with. And I watch a video like this and I'm like, wow, what are we talking about? Capital Cups, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership, buddy.
Bro, you're sitting at a computer right now. Feel free to use it. Augie ends this hour-long segment on me, summarizing that the only reason I'd be mad is because I'm stupid or because destiny controls me, feeding into the narrative that got me doxxed in the first place.
It's hard to like logically understand why he's posting this shit. I mean, the two options is literally just he's like brain dead retarded right now, or he's controlled opposition.
Really? That's all you could think of? Well, let me give you a third option. Our wedding is having to prepare for fake bomb threats, and my bride...
What is even the claim that controlled opposition? What? What does that mean?
Feeding into the narrative that got me doxxed in the first place.
It's hard to like logically understand why he's...
Oh, are they talking about Israel? Willie likes Destiny because he defends Israel. Let's be honest. He has dual loyalty. He is controlled opposition. He's controlled. So they're just straight up alleging here, or I don't even think they're joking. I think they're genuinely entertaining the possibility that Willie is being manipulated or coerced or controlled by Israel. I just, okay. How does it get to this point? Like, how do people, what series of things has to go wrong in someone's life before they end up in a position where they're saying ridiculous shit like this?
Posting this shit. I mean, the two options is literally just he's like brain dead retarded right now, or he's controlled opposition.
He is malicious. Willie was the guy in the video. He just needs to be away from that dude. He's controlled opposition. TWD, I don't even know what that is. Willie's scared. He's compromised, bro. Super scared of Chud. Do you think they would even talk to Augie?
Really? That's all you could think of? Well, let me give you a third option. Our wedding is having to prepare for fake bomb threats, and my bride is worried about us and our family getting shot. Augie never once brings this up as a possibility for why I'm frustrated. It doesn't cross...
I don't understand. This is what I just don't understand. Like, when internet beef escalates to the point where there are very real consequences, tangible consequences in someone's personal life, such as the case with Ethan having CPS called and having skulls mailed to his house, or Willie having to worry about security at his fucking wedding. I don't understand why all the creators that are in the space commenting on these things, I don't understand why their impulse is not to fire up their stream and try to take the temperature down. Like, if people like Denims and Frogan and Hasan were good people, they would have immediately gone live and said, look, I have my problems with Ethan. I think he's wrong on this issue. But if CPS is being called to their house, like, we need to all take a step back and remember that that is a very severe consequence. I don't understand why, or in the case of like Willie with the situation with his docs and all that, like, I don't understand why these community leaders, these content creators that have these communities, why they don't go live and then actively try to get their stream to take the temperature down. That's, I think, a responsibility that every creator has with their audience. Like, if I found out that people in my community were doxing people or glorifying the dox of people, if I saw that in my like Discord or in any either chat room, I would ban these people like immediately. But it seems like a lot of creators, they like, if they don't come out and say that they support these negative consequences, they certainly present like they don't really care. And it just blows me away. And I don't know if it's a product of like being young. This guy looks pretty young. A lot of times when you're young, you don't think things through. I remember being young. I remember not thinking things through. And maybe a lot of these people are just young and they don't really understand like what it actually means to have CPS called at your house. And now you're in the system and now you have to like, there's follow-ups and there's like a record of it, you know? They're mid-20s, early 30s, bro. Look, all I can tell you is for me, I didn't feel like a grown-up until I was nearly 40. You know, now when I think about myself like as a grown-up. Like I remember being in my 30s and having the thought, is it supposed to feel like I'm a grown-up? I still feel like kind of a kid. That's not everybody's story. You know, some people, they grow up a lot quicker. Some people grow up in their teens, right? But for me, that was the case. And it was after we lost my sister, that's when I was like, okay. That's when like things like I'm sorry, I don't mean to like bring the temperature down or bring the mood down. Just like going through that experience, definitely at the end of that, I felt like, yeah, I'm a grown up, you know.
Lost his mind. Seriously, if that's the extent of your analysis, you need to quit. In my last conversation with Augie, he told me a story about how he quit drama for a year because a guy named Salvo was doxing and harassing him and his family. So where is that same sympathy when it's happening to me and my wife? He shares the same empathy meter with Ian.
You know, my empathy meter's only maybe like a quarter of the way filled up.
The most reassuring news I got was when my wedding planner told me that she talked to the venue and they told her that the riffraff doesn't bother.
My sister got diagnosed with pancreatic cancer shortly after she gave birth to her first child. She was like losing weight while she was pregnant, which was like, that's weird. What's going on with that? And then she gave birth and then had some pain, went to the doctor, got a pancreatic cancer diagnosis, and she passed pretty shortly after that. She passed the day after my birthday in 2020, in late July. I don't bring this up to be a super downer, because I've processed a lot of that grief, and I'm good now. Like, I can have conversations about it without like breaking down. You know, everybody's going to go through these kinds of things in their life at some point. Every one of you guys is going to experience something like that. It is just a part of life, and so figuring out how to keep going when stuff like that happens it's like something that we all have to learn. And so thankfully I was able to, you know, I got sober, and after I got sober, I was able to like process, you know. But you know, I get a call from my mom, and she says, you know, you might want to, because I live in the Los Angeles area. My parents I'm getting a little emotional about it right now. My family's in the North Bay, and I'm in Los Angeles, and I got a call from my mom, and she said, you know, you might want to come up and say your goodbyes. This was like during the pandemic too. So I couldn't like spend a lot of time with her because it was during the pandemic, which was like a huge bummer, obviously. And so we got there, and then so for like the final week of her life, like I basically was there to like help her die. And like, going through an experience like that, you definitely, like, after that experience, I was like, yep, I'm a grown up, you know? I was like, yep. That was a very grown up situation. And so like the whole experience really profoundly changed me as a human being. I am not the same person I was before that experience. In some of the ways, it's like a good thing. So after going through that, I don't stress about like the things that are totally outside of my ability to change. I don't stress about those things as much. I don't get hung up on that stuff as much, because once you see something like that with your own eyes, like up close, like watching someone fade away and pass from cancer is a very intense experience. And I think like once I started getting into the mindset of like it could happen to anyone. I mean, you know, I knew that people died from cancer, but I didn't know that, you know, I had people die from cancer in my family before, but not like that. It was just very quick. It was just pancreatic cancer is really aggressive kind of cancer and very hard to treat. Very few people live past, you know, in 6 months, let alone 2 or 5 years. Once I get that diagnosis, but like once I realized that your whole life can change, like with a phone call, you know, a little like, you know, your abdomen's kind of sore, and then the next day you're being told that you have like a few months to live. It's pretty, you know, once I imagined what that experience must have been like for Tiff, it's just harder for me to get irritated or angry about things that I just can't change. You know, so like I'm a less angry person now for sure. Sorry for your loss, Hutch. I lost my first love in my late 20s, sent me to a very dark place. Thanks, buddy. I did, you know, again, I was able to process that grief finally. I still get emotional watching movies and playing video games. That shit makes me emotional, but I was able to get through that grief. It was tough though. It took years. It took me years. It took me fucking years to get through that grief. And I don't know how we got sidetracked on this, but does change you. It does. I think it really changes you when that happens, and it certainly changed me for sure.
Them because they've done celebrity weddings and that they're in a Jewish neighborhood, so they're used to getting calls like this. In one sense, very reassuring because it means our venue wasn't spooked, and in another sense, very depressing because it means people are just calling and
Matt, thank you so much for the tier 1 membership. Appreciate it, buddy.
this place because they're in a Jewish neighborhood. I don't know what should happen when it comes to Destiny or a snark community doxing each other and others, but what I do know is BadEmpanada needs to be banned. He nonstop slanders people, doxes people, and harasses them. He recently swatted Kraut by falsely reporting him to the Austrian police for hacking his alt Twitter accounts. I don't think they were ever hacked at all.
Basically, he accuses me of hacking. BadEmpanada accuses me of hacking. Specifically, he accuses me of hacking 15 of his banned Twitter accounts.
His evidence of Kraut hacking him comes from a tweet where Kraut says he's archiving his accounts. That's literally it.
The Bad Company with $5 is these tankies plan to create a chilling effect for people like you. Glad Ethan and WillyMac are fighting back. Keep up the good work. For leftists, the propaganda aspect of their revolutionary efforts is an essential part of that situation. When you look at the various like communist parties and socialist parties that have like successfully like couped the government or successfully had a revolution and took over something, like there's like always like a propaganda wing of the party, of the vanguard party or whatever, and so I like for leftists, I think they get inspiration from that kind of strategy. And so I think for these leftists, for I shouldn't say all leftists, but like these extreme kind of black pill lefties, they think that what they're doing is like in service to a revolutionary cause. They genuinely have that. It's like a delusion of grandeur. So when they get online and they lie about people like Ethan or WillyMac or me, they think it's in service of their revolution or whatever. So I think, I don't know if they're trying to do a chilling effect. Maybe, I'm sure some of them are, but I think it's more just that they think the ends justify the means. Like it's justified to lie about people if they're bad people and they believe bad things, or if they're considered like reactionary. It's okay to lie about them and smear them, and because it's all a part of their revolutionary struggle or whatever. I don't know. I think that's what they convince themselves, that they're doing it in service of like the cause,
This here is the central claim. He claims, I got illegal access to 15 of his 22 temporarily banned X accounts. Well, what did I tweet? I tweet, yeah, we managed to get archive files containing everything BadEmpanada tweeted with 15 of his 22 suspended accounts. Well, how did we get this? We went to Wayback Machine and typed in his accounts.
So f***ing obviously is not you hacking him. He's saying that tweet is evidence that he was hacked.
Yes.
BadEmpanada actually just uploaded a video on why he thinks his police report was justified, and in it, he just reads his complaint.
So this is probably the most serious thing that he did, in that he publicly implied that he had hacked my social media accounts and obtained private information about me that is otherwise inaccessible from doing so, and that he was going to go through it and share it.
Hey, no neck, he's talking about the public tweets you posted. Oh yeah, this tweet where Crouch says he's going to screenshot the unhinged stuff I say, yeah, that's evidence he's going to hack me. Please believe me, audience. Like, how stupid are his viewers?
An archive file containing everything BadEmpanada tweeted with 15 of his 22 suspended accounts. Now, you can't really get an archive file of someone else's Twitter. The only way you can get that.
I think the way that lefty content creators treat BadEmpanada is like the way that California Democrats treat Gavin Newsom, Like he might be a psychopath, but he's like our psychopath. He might be completely psychotic in his hatred and vitriol for the Republican Party, but he's our psycho. You know what I mean? I feel like that's how they treat BE. I think they see him as like a necessary evil. In service to the cause or whatever.
Yeah. Archive file is by having access to the account, so that's very suspicious, isn't it?
Or he could just go to your public Twitter page and screenshot all your tweets. He's so desperate to sound like a victim here when he's the one who falsely swatted Crowd.
He didn't want me to think that he had engaged in potentially criminal activity. Why did he make a public post implying that he was engaging in that activity? Public posts that clearly the Vienna police who investigated the case thought were suspicious enough to warrant an investigation and an interview.
What BadEmpanada is not telling you is that the police dismissed his complaint as having zero merit. He's essentially reading his own complaint and then acting like that somehow makes it more legit. It doesn't. This is only a small portion of how stupid this police report is. In short, the police closed the investigation because it was a massive waste of time, but this still allowed BadEmpanada to get all of Kraut's personal information. When the police closed the investigation, BadEmpanada wrote an email threatening Kraut to stay silent on it.
Hi, Joseph. I did not swat you. You gave me legitimate reason to believe that you were hacking my accounts.
It's a pretty good impersonation, actually.
My private information and posted very public threats against me. I'm relieved to hear that you apparently denied that you were really engaging in this behavior. I will not apologize for taking basic measures.
Guys, we're gonna listen. It's all going to make sense very shortly. We're going to cover the DC stuff, I promise you.
To protect myself, like filing a police report. When you publicly made such statements, I would prefer to not have to talk about this publicly, as you will note that I have refrained from doing up until this point, because I legitimately never did any of the things you claimed I did to you and have no wish to embarrass or divulge any personal info by releasing any of the files I received from the public prosecutor's office on this case.
Or in other words, stay silent or I'm gonna post all of your personal information I got from the police. Kraut has vented a bit about this, so BadEmpanada has already started lying about the facts. Kraut is currently going around claiming that I swatted him. In reality, I reported him to the Vienna police because he was openly posting on Twitter about he was stalking / doxing me for months. The prosecutor thought the evidence I provided was suspicious enough to warrant an investigation, especially one about him illegally accessing my data. Kraut told me that the Austrian police are obligated to investigate every report, and the investigation came back
pretty sure every
BadEmpanada had little more than
police department does that.
Evidence that his accusations of violent threats can both in objective and subjective manner not be proven due to there not being any violent threats, that the accusation of libel or slander is not detectable. This video is so embarrassing by him. He is non-stop lying, and from what I've seen, BadEmpanada has no evidence. He's just wasting everybody's time to get a dox. Seriously, how is this guy not banned from everything? There is some good news though. BadEmpanada is apparently on the run. I thought it was just a meme when he posted, "Today's stream is delayed as I am fleeing to a different country," but it turns out this might be real as Ethan is monologuing his next move to track him down. BadEmpanada is on the run. He knows we're closing in. We suspected he had fled back to Australia, but upon further research and verification, he's actually—
Who is this guy? Where does he get his money? Like, does he come from money? How does he have— I don't think that— I have to assume that his YouTube account is probably not monetizable, right? Where does he make his income? Like, where is this guy? Is he controlled opposition? Is that what's going on here?
Fled to Uruguay. This information is probably shocking for him to hear as he went to great lengths to obscure his escape from Argentina to Uruguay. BadEmpanada, if you ever decide to return to Australia, will be immediately notified and a torrent of lawsuits will follow. You are easy to get in Australia, which is why you're doing everything to avoid returning. Why am I telling you this? So he looks over his shoulder every day. We are coming and we will win. You can run from us, but we will catch you and we will ruin you. Have a nice day.
BadEmpanada chimed in. Does it feel good to be hated literally everywhere you go? I mean, first of all, BadEmpanada, you're outcast from society. Like, we live in Los Angeles, California. You are on the run.
I mean, you know you're a piece of shit when even Hasan pulls up BadEmpanada's video of him doxing me, and even he's surprised about what's happening.
Just like how I can tell you that WillyMacShow is William McConville, and he is getting married to Yale. Now, I am not going to give you the full name of the person he's getting married to, but I can tell you—
This is drama slob empanada content? Yeah, I don't really fucking give a shit about this.
Like, I appreciate that he stopped watching immediately, but why are we acting—
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
like it's just slop? I'd argue it's a bit more ill-intended than slop content. Hasan is a guy who thinks the subreddit LSF posting his stream clips quantifies as stalking and harassment.
If I was a smart person, I wouldn't be getting ritualistically humiliated by socially maladjusted freaks that are agoraphobic on a daily basis in a mass harassment campaign online. But I do that for a living.
But BadEmpanada posting my personal info, it's just drama slop. Then he watches them again a few days later.
Yeah, we're gonna—
This is a good example of this where I think he's like a crazy person. He is chaotic good, if that makes sense.
No, it doesn't. Please explain.
Like, think about how little little time I spend like shitting on BadEmpanada or whatever. Because like, I think he's coming from— like, we have different methods, we have different tactics, we have different techniques.
His tactics are doxing, false police reports, false CPS reports, slandering people constantly.
But overall, we're working on the same side.
Hasan is literally saying he supports what BadEmpanada is doing. Like, Hasan clearly knows at this point he—
That's fucking bananas, bro. I think, like, once somebody crosses a line into, like, really deranged doxing behavior and malicious lies, when you know someone that maliciously lies constantly and doxes people semi-regularly, then I don't understand how you could justify any kind of crossover in that way. Chaotic delusional? Is that what you're saying?
BadEmpanada really is. He literally had a one-on-one conversation with him where BadEmpanada said these people deserve to be harassed, meaning anyone who mildly disagrees with them.
Be mean to them. If they feel bad, if they feel harassed, honestly, great. I don't give a f. Them. Each and every one of them. We need to be mean to these guys. We need to be assholes. They deserve it.
He knows the guy he's supporting is doing this and purposely promotes him anyway. A week passes and they're talking out about my docs and peddling lies about my wife to discredit valid criticism about them. They're just trying to assassinate my character.
You're just doing investigative journalism. They're saying BadEmpanada unearthed that. Is that true? I think BadEmpanada or somebody unearthed like the WillyMacShow's getting married to like an IDF lady or something, which makes sense.
Well, like the casual nature with which they smear people in this way is, I don't know. These people operate on a totally different frequency than I do. That's
he was the guy who did the big expose on like you with that.
Why is this funny? Like, why is this funny? The guy had to hire extra security for his wedding because he's getting crazy kinds of harassment. And this is funny? Like, I just don't understand why this is funny. What's the joke here?
Bali bombing, hospital bombing, right?
Yeah. He's a brilliant political, probably one of the best minds in politics right now.
Truth. So yeah, compromise.
Like, man, I just keep forgetting. You can justify anything as long as you're more pro-Palestine than the other guy. I want to end
That's what they do. That is what they do.
This video with a story. When I was at my most overwhelmed figuring out all the new logistics for the wedding, Ethan Klein actually hit me up and offered to organize security for it so everyone could have peace of mind and enjoy the day. He had no reason to do that. I don't know Ethan. I made videos on him in the past, but he reached out anyway and lent a hand when he had no reason to. What got me was a text he sent me saying, "I got you, bro. Don't worry, your wedding will be perfect."
Wow.
It was. So thank you. Subscribe to the channel and buy a wallet. Shout out to the homies.
Good guy, Ethan. Damn. That is quite a story. It just feels like nothing ever happens or nothing ever changes the dynamic because there have been so many videos about BE and how wildly unhinged he is and the doxing and all that shit, and just nothing ever changed. Guys, I have a little surprise for you. We're going to have a conversation with WillyMac right now. Right now. Here we go. It's starting. Hey, man, what's up?
Hey, what's up, Hutch?
How's it going?
Good. Nice to meet you, man.
Nice to meet you. Yeah, I think you came up on my radar like 2 or 3 years ago, and I watched a lot of your coverage of the Ethan stuff from back in the day.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've definitely been in the drama slop for a long minute, you know?
Yeah, well, tell me about yourself because I don't know much about like your background here, and probably a lot of people in my audience don't know either. So how did you get started on YouTube, and how has your content changed and evolved over the years?
I mean, I don't think it's really changed that much other than the longer you do something, you get better. All I do is cover YouTube drama and like the different zany characters online and the messes they end up getting themselves into. And a lot of people, like, I feel like, I mean, they've always done this, but specifically with this group, if they're strong in their political leaning, I mean, they always end up labeling me as like the opposite thing. Like when I was going after Andrew Tate or Fresh and Fit or any of those guys, their whole thing was like, Willy's clearly a blue-haired they them liberal.
Yeah.
You know? So I mean, this is more like par for the course stuff. Except for the doxing, which is just like fucking insane. You know, obviously.
Yeah. So
what's funnier now that like the wedding's over, but at the time that really sucked ass and was not all that enjoyable.
Well, I want to get into that in just a minute, but I want to ask you more about, so like what year did you start doing the YouTube stuff? Like how long did it take your channel to start picking up? Was there a particular topic that you covered where you started to see more growth on your channel? Like how did you blow up?
I mean, I always enjoyed like doing YouTube, but like back in the day, like at least it seemed like to me like nobody made money on YouTube, or if people did, it was like very rare. So it wasn't until suddenly like I got back from college and I ended up watching like a couple of drama videos where I was like, man, this shit is like really easy. These videos that people are watching that are getting like hundreds of thousands of views are not very good. So what if I covered it and I just tried to be like really entertaining and just like quick-witted about the whole thing and like laughed at the whole thing? And it was like immediately, like I think that video got like 200,000 views.
What was the first video on? Do you remember the topic?
Yeah, it was by a guy named Anthony Fantano.
Oh dear.
He made a video on a guy named Behind the Meme, and the whole this concept was insane to me at the time. the whole concept was the behind the meme guy is like killing the memes by explaining them. And this was like a huge problem that needed to be solved.
I've had some
stop the memes from being explained, dude.
I've had some run-ins with Needle Drop as of late. I don't
really know anything about the guy, but it was a very bizarre video to me.
He's very scoldy these days, and but there was something
scoldy back then, bro. He was literally like, "Don't explain the Crash Bandicoot whoa meme."
Right? Yeah.
Oh, you're killing the internet, dude.
Well, he had something recent that happened to him where people had DJ Academics, is that the guy's name, had unearthed old videos of Needle Drop making edgy jokes or something like that. And I feel like in those situations, even if that person, in this case Needle Drop, is super scoldy, like I don't necessarily think that it's justified to, entertain bad faith attacks against him. I don't know. How did you feel about all that? I'm sure you saw some of the...
Yeah. Was it like him saying the N-word or something?
Yeah. Well, yeah. So he said the hard R in a video, but he was quoting iDubbbz, I think. And then he was also on a podcast where somebody had made a joke, I think, about Trayvon Martin, and then people were like bad faith attacking him. So like, even though I think he does bad behavior, like this Needle Drop person, I don't think that that's an excuse to use bad faith attacks against him. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. This DJ Academics guy, like, I think I've seen some videos on him that were pretty good. Like, that guy I don't think is like the greatest dude ever. Like, I think a problem is when you go ahead and you walk around and you do like the holier than thou thing and you get at people for their language, when it comes back to bite you and people dig up stuff on you, like you should be aware of that.
Yeah. You put yourself...
I don't really like to go do the whole, like, your joke was too edgy criticism, because it's just... It's stupid, because we've all said edgy jokes. We've all laughed at something we probably shouldn't have.
Yeah, for sure.
Makes sense.
So you were doing the drama stuff, but then at some point it kind of started to intersect with politics. It feels like a lot of conversations that happen online are downstream from politics these days. Was that a conscious choice that you made to go into politics, or did it end up that way? The other thing too is, like, I was trying to think about it. I don't even know what your politics are, to be honest. I don't know. I have no sense of if you're like...
Probably Hutch, because I don't really know what my politics are. I'm not exactly like a very politically knowledgeable person. And I think if people want to go ahead and get like political opinions, they probably should go to people that are a lot smarter than me. I feel like I kind of stick to, like, when it comes to my content is like, when it comes to covering politics more, it's like, it's not really I'm covering politics. It's more I'm covering people that cover politics, because the internet's grown up since I first started. When I first started doing YouTube, it was like very childish drama. Like, it was like iDubbbz rolling around in the fucking dirt and like Leafy playing like a CSGO or whatever, right? Like the drama was very childish. That audience has grown up, and now it turns out politics has like the best drama. Like, these people are man children, dude. It's hilarious.
So like, you've had run-ins with all kinds of various different communities. I mean, I don't know if I'm going to bias I don't know if I'm going to bias your answer on this question, but I was just telling my audience a little while ago that I've kind of rolled around in the mud with various toxic communities, and just anecdotally, my experience recently with sparring with, I call them black pill lefties. They're just like it's like a very kind of unhinged kind of left wing politics. For me, that's been for sure the most like aggressive, hostile, deranged like crowd. Like, even more so than MAGA, even more so than like Call of Duty fans and other like video game fandoms. Have you had different experiences kind of sparring with different communities that have like different political leanings? What's been your experience so far? Because I assume things ratcheted up for you when you started to take a pro Ethan kind of position. Because the same thing happened to me. As soon as I started saying, well, wait a second, I actually think Ethan is making some really good points here, and I think it's crazy that CPS was called, that's when I started getting like really heavily attacked by these people. Did you have a similar situation there?
I mean, I was on the Hasan, like, Hasan is a hypocrite and shit at covering the news thing for like a long time before Ethan, so I honestly feel like these different genres on YouTube, when you criticize the people, whether it's Andrew Tate or like Myron or Sneeko, their response a lot of the time is pretty similar, or Hasan or Bosch or whatever, right? Like, I feel like it always turns into like deflect, make up a nickname for the guy, like call them slop or call them stupid or call them a liberal or call them a Nazi, right? Like whatever it is, and just try and discredit. Like that's always the game plan. I personally feel like, yeah, when I covered Ethan, it like suddenly like brought in BadEmpanada because he's obviously been platformed by Hasan. And the minute I turned and I criticized that guy, like I shouldn't be shocked at all when I turn around, when I get doxxed, right?
Well, it's sort of, it escalates to these like very real world consequences. So for these people, when Ethan had CPS called on him, it was like a running joke. I was just telling my chat a minute ago, like as soon as that happened, every single one of those creators should have gone live or posted a video or posted a tweet or an Instagram post or something, you know, telling their audience like, look, we don't agree with him. We think this is bad, but this is obviously escalated to a degree that is unacceptable.
Yeah,
and
I think he deserves it.
Right. That's the point. Yeah. That's the joke.
It's unhinged. Like I've never seen like it get this far. Like seriously, like it should be just entirely unacceptable. Like I don't know what the answer is for platforming or like exciting a community who's doing the doxing or doing the CPS calls, whatever we're going to call it. But it just blows my mind. Like so many people are okay with it. Like I swear to God, dude, 5 years ago covering drama, if you just corrected people and were like, this is the truth, that person would get obliterated every time. The person who's lying would get obliterated almost every time. Every year we've slipped closer into the future. Every following year, it's just become like completely okay to lie, and not just from the streamer's perspective or the creator's perspective, but from the viewer's perspective. Like viewers are okay with it too. They know it. They got to see it. They're just fine with it.
Well, I think
it's for like a greater cause.
Well, I think it's like a mixed bag. So there's going to be like the creators themselves, they know they're lying. So like when Noah and Hasan joke about you being controlled opposition or perhaps like controlled by Mossad or that your wife is an IDF soldier or something, they know that's a lie. And I think probably
the IDF went, you know what, let's go ahead and move this 3-year-old girl to the US because in 20 years we got to control the media that WillyMacShow puts out, dude. It was a 5-head game, dude.
Well,
that's why they're the best.
There could be something there. I mean, you don't know. Like you don't know. They play the long game. Dude. No, but they play the long game, so you don't know. It's possible, I guess. It's not a 0% chance.
We got no chance if this is it. But now that we're married, it's great because I can like use all the weather machines and
they got you. They got their hooks into you, bud. There's
control what Fox News says. It's great. It's amazing.
I mean, but so I do think that there's a lot of them that lie, but what ends up happening is that the lie gets repeated so often that their audience just uncritically accept it as the truth. And so I'm sure from now on, you're gonna get like a lot of people in your replies and comments accusing you of being manipulated by Mossad or accusing your wife of being IDF. And a lot of those people genuinely believe this stuff.
Yeah, no, but I agree with you, dude, but there's entirely on that. That's objectively true what you just said. But there is also a shocking amount of viewers who are entirely okay with the lie.
Yeah.
Like in a way I've never seen before. Like this is not normal. It's not exclusive to me. It's just every year from 2020, like COVID broke everybody's brains or something, dude.
Yeah.
Every year from 2020, it's just become like more okay. Like, I mean, for fuck's sake, dude, like we see the fucking president do this shit. Right.
Well, I was just about to say
openly lying about numbers or whatever the fuck it is.
Yeah. I mean, I was just about to say, I think the way that we can sort of unpack why this is the case now, why everyone is just so okay with this kind of lying is because I think people have watched Donald Trump lie to a degree that we've literally never seen in terms of like a US politician and face no consequences of that from that. And then even more, they've seen him benefit from that. Like they've seen him manipulate his own followers into thinking the most ridiculous things like windmills cause cancer and blah, blah, blah. And so I think a lot of them, it is like a black pill kind of thing.
Thing that's said?
Yeah, he thinks that windmills cause cancer. Like he said this 1,000 times. And he thinks that they kill whales. I mean, he's just, whatever. I mean, this is just one of like thousands of lies that this guy regularly says, but I think people in the left-wing spaces, they saw that he really was able to gain a lot of power by manipulating his own people in that way. And so now I just think we're living in kind of like this post-truth era where I think their thinking is probably like, F it, right? This is just an information war. Everybody else is doing it. It works. And so we're just going to do it. Yeah. So
it's for political activism to dox my wedding.
It's praxis. Yeah. I mean, I wanted to get into that with you. I mean, like, they're going to treat this like a joke, but if you feel comfortable with whatever details you feel comfortable sharing.
Yeah.
I imagine that was really stressful. So like you've spent probably better part of a year planning for this event to happen. You're really close to the wedding day. A week out. In a lot of cases, like this type of ceremony really means like a lot to the bride. And then you have to sit her down and tell her what's going on. Like, can you talk about what that conversation was like and how that...
I don't want to get into like those details.
No, yeah, not specific. Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
The point is, it just sucked. Like it was chaotic. There was a lot of planning and logistics that had to change to like communicate with all of these different people in the police stations. Like, hey, this is what's going on. And it's just a huge waste of everybody's time. Like, it's just a massive waste of everyone's time. The whole point is to make you feel paranoid. Even though, like, deep down, like, I knew none of these people were going to leave their mom's basements, right? But, it sucked. It wasn't fun. It was annoying. But, like, luckily, like, we had people that were, like, really good and have dealt with stuff like this before, like, that were involved. And not just Ethan, but my planner, like the stations had dealt with that. The venue had dealt with that. So it just, everything ended up working out and going off without a hitch. And it was like the best day ever, man. Seriously.
So you guys did manage to have a good time despite that. You managed to have...
Great. It's like the greatest day ever.
That's
seriously. Cool. It's like probably, maybe biased. Might be the best wedding that ever happened.
Well, I'm glad to hear that because, I mean, I know how vicious this crowd is. And so the thought of like that negatively impacting this really special day for you guys was really upsetting even though I don't know you guys, just like the concept of that happening is something that I think is indicative of a culture that's like really rotten in online spaces. I think you can be really blunt and have disagreements with people and even, you don't have to be nice to them. You can be mean sometimes. But once we start graduating into the situation where you got to worry about logistical concerns for security for your wedding because of this, then I think it's like really escalated to a point where, I'm afraid that something is really bad is going to have to happen for people to understand the seriousness of these kinds of things. I hope
it's the point where it's no longer online banter at that point, and you're just like affecting people's real lives.
Yeah,
and like that sucks. Like that's not. I don't understand how this is like, because this is something that I get, like they're weaponizing for their side right now. And it probably feels like kind of good. Like, oh yeah, we're fucking with them. But like, dude, at any point that could turn on you. It's like you're the rules of the game you're calling for to be changed here is like incredibly dangerous. And I don't think like any creator online, no matter what kind of content you create, should be asking for it to go there.
How does BE, I don't understand. So does YouTube just not take action against this guy? Like, I don't understand.
So I think he blurred the video. So they just thought like YouTube thought that was enough, that he blurred that one little part, even though when he scrolls down, it still shows it. He's still blasting my name, saying my name to everybody. Just YouTube doesn't care. And I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what to do there or why, but...
Do you feel do you feel a kind of reluctance to cover certain topics in the future, or are you going to keep pressing on and just doing what you do?
I mean, part of me is like stubborn and feels like I never want I will not give these people an inch because they're so clearly in the wrong on this shit. And I'm going to keep like slamming it when they're being like annoying or whatever. But like the other part of me, like, yeah, there's probably like there's a little thought in the back of my head now of like, will I want to deal with this? What are the stakes right now in this thing? So like, I wish I could be brave and say like, no, for sure. But like, it's definitely going to change how I go about, inviting people to things in the future and shit. Like,
well, I'm not. I mean, listen, I'm not gonna judge you.
Changing some stuff, you know. Like, I don't want to exactly like set myself up for the same sort of thing. Like, if I throw a big like 10-year anniversary, I'm probably gonna be like, you know what? Let's not talk about any doxers this week. You know, like.
Well, certainly making a video about BE is like directly confronting the situation. So I hope for your case it doesn't, escalate further.
No. I mean, now, like, let's face it, we're fucking here. Like, it can't get any worse. We're at this point.
Yeah. I guess you're already past the wedding.
Fuck this guy. I'm not going to go ahead and if he's making money off of my docs and posting a YouTube video with ads and getting Patreon subscribes, I'm going to make money off my docs. All right. It's got to be fair, dude.
I think that's fair. Yeah, that's reasonable. I want to end this conversation with a question and 2 compliments. And so the question I want to ask you is, you had that debate with Hasan, but I think you had said that you had no real experience in debate. You're not like the super political person. But you ended up, I think, like completely holding your own in that conversation. Were you nervous going into that situation? Didn't it happen like on the fly? Wasn't it like something?
Yeah. I was at the grocery store checking out my 2% milk, and he starts like ramping on Twitter, like, get on here, debate me about Israel, Palestine. And I told him no. And then he said, well, it doesn't. I was like, I'll debate about you, not Israel, Palestine. And he said, all right, fine, do it, Willy No Show. And I'm like, oh shit, dude, he brought out the nickname. I got to show up now.
Were you nervous going into it?
I was nervous about it, but at the same time, like, and I am not a good debater. I honestly think I'm running like an IQ of like a B+, maybe like an 88% or some shit. Like, I'm not that smart. But the fact is, like, you don't have to be a good debater and you don't have to be that smart if you're just like objectively right.
Well, it was really It was. I feel like it was really hard for him to make any kind of case, because I thought the whole point of the debate was to talk about your video, but then he was claiming that he never watched the video, which I just don't believe, for the record. But like, how do you debate someone about the contents of a video without watching the video? Like that how the fuck are you supposed to do that? Just like, that was just so absurd that I felt like it gave you the upper hand in that conversation.
We did it, and then every time I would get to the point where it's like, see how you're fucking this up, see how you're doing that wrong, he would just be like, yeah, all right, next topic. It's like, okay, so like, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah,
I guess we'll take that one that's probably as good as we're ever gonna get from him. The whole point of Hasan, like, the minute he realized like he was on the back foot of that debate, and I actually had like receipts and was documented on this stuff, he just started yelling at me and like name calling the whole time and doing what he calls like debate philia or whatever.
Well, that I felt like that took balls to step into that space, because that guy covers politics for like 8 to 12 hours every day, and you cover drama. You're not a super political person, so I had
debates about as much as me though, Hutch. Like, let's be fair, the debate experience is probably even.
he certainly does it less these days.
He's debated somebody that wasn't like a 16-year-old Israeli kid.
So that I want to end the conversation with a compliment. The beard. Good luck, bro. That's an upgrade for you, man. I want to see like an even thicker beard. Like, I want to see like,
I could try, dude.
Let it
come at me for my small chin. So the best part about growing a beard is, boom, you hide that shit. It's the male version of makeup.
It's a hack for like 90% of dudes, just grow out the beard. But yeah,
it is, dude. It's nice.
Well, thanks for coming on. I'm glad to hear that your wedding, that you guys were still able to enjoy it. It was the best day ever. The thought of them like ruining that for you was pretty upsetting. So the fact that you guys had such a good day, I think, is a testament to them just like utterly failing at that. So
I appreciate the support. I appreciate people from like, every background coming out and saying like, yeah, that's fucking insane. And no, thanks guys. All right. I'll see you around. Pleasure meeting you, Hutch.
Hey, take it easy, man.